Nice lady.
That's natural.
Come run one of your gnarled fingers.
Well, come here.
While you on air, so they can hear you live.
Come on.
The beef between Katt Williams and Wanda Smith isn't dying anytime soon, as the two comedians are hurling damning accusations against each other. The accusations have now reached epic proportions, as reports indicate that Katt Williams has ample proof Wanda Smith is after his life. What proof does the 52-year-old have against Wanda Smith and her husband? And how is it going after the case?
Atlanta comedy.
Tell Wanda to take off them headphones and that wig.
And make sure
That wig and that headphones come
and take
together.
off them old ass clothes you got on. How about that? Yeah, they're old.
Versace, yeah.
Wanda Smith and Katt Williams have not seen eye to eye since Katt roasted Wanda on her own radio show a few years ago. The veteran comedian didn't hold anything back as he tore into the radio show host for asking questions that he deemed provocative. The two went at each other for a few minutes, with many listeners tipping Katt Williams the victor for his rapid-fire delivery. Wanda Smith appeared unprepared for Katt's style, which left her embarrassed and listeners in stitches. According to Wanda, Katt stopped by the radio show to lend his support to fellow comedian Red Grant, who had a show in Atlanta. So, she took the opportunity to interview Katt and see what was going on with him as well. However, what started as a witty personal exchange quickly spiraled into a dust-up between the two. Many fans believe it was Wanda who started it all when she decided to ask Katt what he cooked for his children. The comedian and actor then roasted Wanda Smith into smithereens, with the two going at each other for about 2 minutes. "My hair is 19 inches long and I have no perm. Come run one of your gnarled fingers through it while you're on air so they can hear you lie," Williams said. Katt went on to tease Wanda about her wig, insinuating that it was being held in place by the headphones she had on. The radio host responded by claiming Katt was wearing an old dirty suit, forcing the veteran comedian to open up his suit and reveal a limited Versace collection. At this point, it was all smiles in the studios as Red Grant and the other personalities enjoyed the back and forth. Katt then referred to Wanda's bag, her blood pressure, and her cholesterol level, with the radio host calling him Lil Mama, comparing Katt's body size and mannerisms to the rapper. Katt responded to that diss by cautioning Wanda Smith to desist from talking about sizes since she was big on radio. However, Wanda wouldn't give up and came back by saying Katt was big in prison. The veteran comedian corrected that information, insisting that he'd never been in prison. 19 felonies and no convictions. "There's a difference between prison and jail," Katt explained. Wanda would ask Katt to calm down, but he refused because he was apparently agitated by her reference to his past alleged crimes. Katt roasted Wanda for her cheap jewelry, claiming it was just $12, and one could even get it at a cheaper price if they bought 2 packs of Newport. Many fans enjoyed the show as the two comedians teased each other, with most of them crowning Katt as the winner of the exchange. One fan wrote, "He used no profanity and didn't call her outside of her name, and yet he still flamed her. That's someone you really don't want to mess with. He used no profanity and didn't call her outside of her name, and yet he still flamed her. That's someone you really don't want to mess with." Another also commented, "Besides Katt Williams roasting the hell out of Wanda, Red Grant's laugh didn't help either." Some also pointed out when Katt went off on Wanda during the interview. Katt tried to be merciful when he switched the convo to her kids, but she literally fed him a straight line with broccoli. Then all bets were off. You can easily see how outstanding he is as a comedian. He is very quick-witted. He can capture the pulse of the room immediately. He is a professional. She won't do that again. With many fans clowning Wanda Smith for losing to Katt Williams, it was only a matter of time before she gave up on her radio career. A few weeks after the said incident, Wanda left the radio station without any explanation. However, fans suspected she was fired over the incident involving Katt. Though nothing was ever heard of the two comedians, speculations were rife that there was tension between them. The tension came to a head when Wanda Smith's husband, Lamorris Sellers, allegedly pulled up a gun on the Katt Williams. The incident, which was caught on camera, showed Katt Williams approaching the Comedy Theater in Norcross, Georgia, when Sellers' bodyguard approached him. The two began what looked like a heated exchange before the bodyguard chased Katt down the street, with Sellers following suit out of the camera's range. According to Katt, Sellers pointed a side piece at him, forcing him and his bodyguard to run to the food depot. When the police arrived, they took Katt's statement and asked Sellers if he had a gun. Sellers indicated that he had a firearm, but didn't point it at Katt Williams or anyone else. Instead, the gun fell out of its holster while he was pursuing Katt, and he stopped to retrieve it. Explaining his version of the event, Sellers indicated that Katt walked up to him and his wife and started taunting them. This angered his bodyguard, who squared up to the veteran comedian. Katt Williams then backed off, but the bodyguard wouldn't relent, so Katt started making his way down the street. He also followed them, and that was when his sidearm fell out of its belt. Fortunately, the security cameras at the theater caught the exchange between the two, allowing the police to review it and make their judgment. Though no arrest was made, the incident sparked a storm on social media, with many fans bashing Wanda Smith and her husband for allegedly threatening Katt Williams' life. Soon, Katt's spat with Wanda Smith on V103 took center stage again as fans replayed the incident several times. The news portals and tabloids rode on the trend for weeks, with fans criticizing Wanda and her husband for their behavior at the comedy theater. Some fans took to social media to express their outrage over the incident. One fan wrote, "Look at Wanda smiling as it all unfolded. She thought she got the last laugh. Lol. Then that job got snatched, and she was the one with egg on her face." Others also thought they saw Wanda laughing at the alleged threat on Katt's life, and they called her out for it. That's crazy for Wanda to even smile at a situation like that. She deserved to have been fired. It really shows her true character. However, there were fans who questioned the rationale behind pulling a gun in the first place. They thought that Wanda's husband was significantly bigger than Katt, and so he shouldn't have resorted to the sidearm in the first place. They wrote, "What did he have a for? He's 1,000 times bigger than Katt. Also, the situation wasn't bad enough to bring a gun into it. Katt didn't threaten Wanda in any way at all. Why would a gun need to be involved? Exposing her wig-headphone combo isn't something to kill someone over. WTF." Others also thought that Wanda had planned the whole incident as she was seen waiting outside the comedy theater for Katt. This lady is a liar. She and her posse, including her husband, were waiting outside the entrance for Katt. She planned the whole thing. She even had lookouts to tell them when Katt is coming. She needs to get fired and prosecuted. Meanwhile, Katt Williams made an appearance on the club Shay Shay, hosted by Shannon Sharpe, to talk about his life and the industry. About an hour into the interview, Sharpe asked Williams about his beef with Wanda Smith and the incident at the radio station. According to the veteran comedian, his appearance on the radio show was to celebrate his Emmy win for his role in the Atlanta TV series. He said that before going live, Wanda Smith outlined her expectations, and they both agreed that she wouldn't bring up his kids and jail time. However, Wanda didn't hold her side of the bargain, and she flipped a few minutes into the interview, talking about his kids. Katt couldn't hold back, as he felt betrayed by the host. "You can't flip up on me because you're an inferior comedian. I'm going to destroy you, and I'm never going to call you out of your name." According to Katt Williams, he was threading a thin line when responding to Wanda after she called him. He explained that people didn't take it lightly that someone would refer to another person as in a derogatory manner. He believed that calling him when it was meant to be a derogatory term was what got Wanda Smith fired in the first place. He continued that he learned after his interview with Wanda that she's been doing the same thing to his fellow comedians for years. According to fans, Wanda usually sets up her guests and then clowns them into submission. So many of them were happy that somebody finally stood up to Wanda and put her in her place. He then explained the incident at the comedy theater, where Wanda's husband pulled a firearm on him. "They tried to end me this weekend, not in jokes, but with a real gun, in my real face on a real camera." According to the Friday After Next star, his life was in danger for doing his job and for standing up to someone who attempted to bully him. When Sellers was asked about his reasons for pulling out the firearm, he stated that though he had the sidearm, he never brought it out. Instead, his intention was to protect his wife from Katt Williams. Fans wondered what Sellers was protecting his wife from, given that he was taller and bigger than Katt Williams and could easily take him on. Although Katt had a bodyguard who was bigger, Wanda's bodyguard was of a similar size. Thus, there was no need to protect his wife. Plus, Katt didn't bring out any offensive weapon, so Sellers' menacing approach towards Katt Williams was unnecessary. He could have just allowed his wife to continue the verbal exchange with the veteran comedian. After all, that's what his wife was good at. Thus, many felt that his approaching Katt was completely useless. Wanda Smith's family isn't the only one to have a bone to pick with Katt Williams. During his interview on the club Shay Shay, the veteran comedian ruffled many feathers, including Kevin Hart, Ricky Smiley, Steve Harvey, and Cedric the Entertainer. Of all the people he clowned, Kevin Hart appeared to be the worse off, as Katt said describe him as an industry plant. "He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definition of these words. He accused Kevin Hart of wearing the dress as part of an initiation ceremony into the Illuminati. Once the person dons the dress, the Illuminati continues to project the person to fans, blessing them with lots of money and power. The host, Shannon Sharpe, asked him whether he didn't fear the backlash from Kevin Hart, and he said Satan didn't have the power to create blessings for his own. He then explained that the most important job of a person who sold their soul to the devil is to pretend as if they never did. While promoting his new movie, Lift, on Fox 5, Kevin Hart responded to Katt's accusations, comparing him to a lion at the circus. He said, "You don't entertain the circus, you watch it. When a lion comes out and rides a bike, you don't think about it too hard. You just go, okay, that's crazy. The lion is riding a bike." And then you go home and enjoy the rest of your day. He then added, "I don't feed into the stuff at all at the end of the day. It's all entertaining to a certain degree." Katt and Kevin Williams have had a public tussle since 2018 when the Friday After Next star questioned Tiffany Haddish's stand-up comedy abilities. According to Katt, Tiffany was only successful because she told jokes that only resonated with white audiences. He also accused Haddish of lying about being in a relationship with an abusive partner in her book and profiting from it. Though Tiffany responded, the one response that got Katt Williams angry came from Kevin Hart. In an interview on The Breakfast Club, he claimed that Williams had his shot in Hollywood, but he blew it up because he wouldn't show up to work or take his work seriously. According to Hart, Katt would blow off his promo shoots and trips. Studios saw him as a risk to their business. Thus, they didn't want to work with him, lest they lose more money. According to Hart, Williams chose to use substances instead of concentrating on his career, hence his inability to hit the heights that were expected of him. All this while, Tiffany Haddish, who was also a guest on the same show as Kevin, nodded her head in agreement. So, in his appearance on Club Shay Shay, Katt Williams addressed all those rumors, indicating that he wasn't under the influence of any substance. He refuted Hart's claim that movie studios saw him as a risk, asking Shannon Sharpe to check out his IMDb profile. Another person who also felt the brunt of Katt Williams' interview on Club Shay was talk show host Steve Harvey. According to the veteran comedian, Steve Harvey plagiarized Mark Curry's show Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Now, Steve got a sitcom where he is the principal and he wears a suit, and then he gets this high-top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business, and it's a man unit. He claimed that the talk show host also attended a few of Mark Curry's shows and stole some of his routine. To support Katt Williams' words, fans resurfaced old video clips of Mark Curry accusing Steve Harvey of stealing his materials. According to Curry, somebody called to tell him that Harvey was using some of his material on his Steve show on NBC. Curry continued that he tuned into the show, and true to the caller's words, Harvey stole some of the comedy materials he used in his Halloween special. He said, "When he was on the bullshit talk show he did all my Halloween material in one Halloween. So somebody called me and said, 'Homeboy's doing your material. This is true stuff that really happened to me.' And my thing is, you didn't have to do that, homeboy. You made enough money. You made enough money. You did enough. Why are you on my material?" Katt Williams also alleged that Steve Harvey hated on Bernie Mac so much that he called the producers of Ocean's 11 for Mac's role. Meanwhile, Steve has always said that he didn't want to be a movie star, a claim that Katt has always rubbished. According to Katt Williams, Steve Harvey isn't good at acting, which is why he's found roles in movies difficult to come by. He said, "There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asked for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You have to have range." He addressed Harvey's previous homeless claims, insinuating that the talk show host was just being economical with the truth. According to Katt Williams, Steve was making $3,000 a show back in the day. However, he only made up the homeless story to court public sympathy and to latch on to the popular Grass to Grace's story that most fans love to hear. He implied that Harvey only got to host the Family Feud show because he could read a few guides on a placard and could come up with a few off-the-cuff funny comments. But when it came to real stand-up, Harvey doesn't have what it takes. Katt continued tearing into Harvey, claiming that Bernie Mac was the funniest of the Kings of Comedy series, making Harvey and the rest of the cast jealous of him. Katt also accused Cedric the Entertainer of stealing his jokes and using them in his own comedy routine. Katt stated that that was his very best joke, his finishing joke, which the other comedian plagiarized. He continued that he performed that joke at the Comedy Store, which Cedric attended. When he finished with his set, he went backstage, where Cedric came to congratulate him and tell him what a wonderful joke joke it was only for him to steal the material and use it in his next routine. This wasn't the first time Katt was accusing Cedric of plagiarizing his material. A few years ago, he alleged that Cedric stole his joke, but he denied the accusation in an interview on Club Shay Shay. He insisted that the joke was his own material and was only a coincidence when it sounded similar to that of Katt's. Cedric claimed he responded to Katt Williams and asked why Katt hadn't replied. However, during his appearance on Club Shay Shay, Katt Williams doubled down on his accusation. He explained that at the time, Cedric thought he was a no-name comedian and thus could steal his joke, and nobody would detect it. However, what Cedric might not have known was that Katt had done the same joke twice on BET's Comic View and did it so well that they included it in their commercial for the show. Katt said, "1998, I'm doing this joke. It's on Comic View." Cedric comes to the Comedy Store. He watches me in the audience. He comes backstage. He tells me what a great job I did and how much he loves the joke. 2 years later, he's doing that as his last joke on the Kings of Comedy, and he's doing it verbatim. He's just changed my car into a spaceship. Katt continued that Cedric called him to apologize for stealing his material, and he gave him a pass for a decade, only for him to come and lie in the Club Shay Shay interview. When the Club Shay Shay posted this segment of the interview as a soundbite on their Instagram account, Cedric the Entertainer responded, "Revisionist history. Regardless of whatever Katt's opinion," he wrote, "my career can't be reduced to one joke Katt Williams claims is his. I've been in over 40 movies. My specials and brand speaks volumes for who I am." Another comedian who got his fair share of criticism from the veteran is Smiley, who claimed that he was supposed to play Katt's Money Mike role in Friday After Next. However, Katt explained that the role was reserved for him, and Ricky was made to play Santa Claus, which made him mad. He claimed that Ricky got jealous of him and started telling everyone who cared to listen that he was supposed to be Money Mike. Ricky's jealousy got the better of him, which was why he decided not to attend the premiere of the movie and instead watch it at home. Katt said that because of Ricky's egregious behavior, he wouldn't work with him again until Ricky was put in a dress for a movie role. So, when the next movie, First Sunday, came after 5 years, Ricky was made to wear a dress and play the role of Bernice Jenkins. However, Ricky rubbished Katt's claims, insisting that he auditioned for the role of Money Mike, but the producers felt that Katt did a brilliant job, and that's why they offered him the role. He also explained that the Money Mike character wasn't originally a pimp, but Katt's audition probably convinced the producers to make the character a pimp, which turned out to be the best decision. Responding to Katt's claim that he made him wear a dress on First Sunday, Ricky explained that he had a personal call to play the role of Bernice Jenkins, and it had nothing to do with Katt Williams. He claimed that all his shows have been packed out since 1997, and everyone got their money's worth in response to Katt's claims that he wasn't funny. A few weeks after the back and forth with Katt, Smiley posted a video of him crying bitterly while a gospel song was playing in the background. Many fans concluded that Ricky was crying because of all the things Katt said about him in the Club Shay Shay interview. They explained that the words Katt used were heavy enough to make anyone cry. And who wouldn't? To be described as talentless, not funny, and made to wear a dress as a form of punishment and humiliation would make even the strongest person break down in tears. However, other fans pointed out that the video was posted around the same time as the first anniversary of the Ricky's son's passing. A few days after posting the video, Smiley finally cleared the air, explaining that he shed those tears that morning when he remembered his son Brandon. Brandon passed on after he accidentally overdosed on pain medications, according to the coroner's report. The 32-year-old was allegedly addicted to pain medications, which he battled for years, according to his father. So, the tears he shed that morning were not a reaction to Katt's unsolicited diss, but mourning his son on the anniversary of his passing. Meanwhile, Katt has announced his tour with Torrey Hart, the ex-wife of Kevin Hart, which has raised many eyebrows. Fans believe that Torrey's decision to accept Katt's invitation stemmed from the fact that both of them had a common enemy, Kevin Hart. However, Torrey has rubbished those speculations, insisting that she's just focused on her career. When asked whether she would use her ex-husband in any of the routines, Torrey insinuated she would. According to her, she's been the butt of Kevin's jokes for years, and she learned to stomach them all, so he should be able to take a few jabs without feeling hurt, disappointed, or betrayed. Some fans also believe that even if Torrey takes a few shots at Kevin, she wouldn't be doing any wrong. It was better to make jokes about her ex-husband than to put a target on his back, as Wanda Smith and her husband allegedly did. Many fans would be happy if Wanda Smith took on Katt Williams on stage in one of her comedic routines, then resort to threatening him. It would be a great moment, as Katt is sure to reply in equal measure. Who knows? Maybe the two comedians would one day have a go at each other on stage and leave it there. As the saying goes, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So, whatever Whatever the two comic acts say on stage remains on stage and won't trickle into real-life scenarios. For now, we don't know what the two of them are up to. Hopefully, there won't be any more gunslinging incident between the two. And that would be all for today. Thanks ever so much for watching. See you in the next video.